Shanghai, March the 28th, 1894. A Korean man sits down to dinner in a hotel room at the Donghaeyang Qing. He is 43 years old. He has been running for 10 years. He thinks tonight is different. A Japanese business contact has arranged a meeting, a possible path back to influence, maybe even back home. His name is Kim Ok-gyun, and the man across the table is not a businessman. Hong Jong-woo draws a pistol and shoots Kim Ok-gyun at close range. The wound is fatal. Kim Ok-gyun, the man who once seized the Korean royal palace and declared a new government in a single night. The man who spent a decade in exile waiting for his moment, dies in a hotel room, alone, in a foreign city. But here is the part that will haunt you. Within months of his death, every reform he had fought for, every idea that got him exiled, hunted, and shot was implemented, just not by Koreans. Stay with me, because this story does not end the way you think it does. Kim Ok-gyun was born in 1851 into a Yangbon family, Korea's ruling aristocratic class. He passed the civil service exams with distinction and moved in the highest circles of the Joseon court. But what set him apart was what he saw when he looked outward. In the 1870s, Japan was transforming at terrifying speed. The Meiji Restoration had dismantled the old feudal order, adopted Western technology, rewritten its legal codes, and built a modern army, all within a generation. Kim traveled to Japan in 1881 and returned shaken. Korea, he believed, was standing still while the world was accelerating past it. He was not wrong. Qing China was weakening. Western powers had carved out treaty ports across Asia. And inside the Joseon court, the most powerful faction, conservatives backed by China, wanted to keep everything exactly as it was. Kim Ok-gyun joined the Gaehwapa, the Enlightenment faction. Their argument was simple. Korea had to modernize its military, its administration, its economy, or it would not survive as an independent nation. The conservatives blocked them at every turn. So Kim Ok-gyun decided to stop waiting. What Kim Ok-gyun attempted next was either the most audacious political act in 19th century Korean history, or a catastrophic miscalculation that set his country back decades, possibly both. December 4th, 1884. A banquet is held at the new postal office in Seoul. Senior government officials attend. In the middle of the dinner, a fire breaks out nearby, or appears to. In the chaos, Kim Ok-gyun and his allies move. Within hours, they have seized Gyeongbokgung Palace. Key conservative ministers are summoned to the king's side and killed on arrival. By morning, a new reform cabinet has been proclaimed. Kim Ok-gyun reads out a 14-point program. Abolish the old class hierarchy, modernize the military, restructure taxation, establish independent governance free from Chinese oversight. For 3 days, it actually holds. Then Yuan Shikai moves. The Qing commander stationed in Seoul leads 1,500 Chinese troops against the palace. The small Japanese guard unit that Kim had counted on for protection withdraws. Korean public support, which Kim had assumed would materialize, does not appear. The reform government collapses. Conservative ministers return to power. Kim Ok-gyun and a handful of allies flee Seoul on foot toward the Japanese legation, then board a Japanese ship bound for Japan. He is 33 years old. He will never return to Korea alive. Japan received Kim Ok-gyun as a political embarrassment wearing the shape of a useful asset. He had failed. His coup had drawn China and Japan dangerously close to open conflict. The Japanese government quietly told him to keep a low profile. He moved from Tokyo to Hokkaido. He wrote, he planned, he petitioned Japanese officials and international contacts for support to try again. No one came. For nearly 10 years, Kim Ok-gyun waited in Japan for a courier that never sent for him. But Korea did send something else: assassins. The Joseon court had declared him a traitor. Multiple attempts were made on his life in Japan. He survived them. He grew older. His Japanese protectors grew more impatient. In 1886, they transferred him to the Ogasawara Islands, a remote Pacific archipelago, ostensibly for his safety, functionally a way to remove him from mainland politics without the inconvenience of formally expelling him. He was marooned there for 2 years. When he finally returned to Tokyo, he was no longer a revolutionary. He was a relic, a man whose moment had come and gone, maintained by a Japanese government that had already begun calculating how to manage Korea without him. In early 1894, a contact reached out. There were people in Shanghai, he was told, who wanted to discuss funding a new reform effort. A meeting was arranged. Kim Ok-gyun boarded a ship for Shanghai. Hong Jong-woo was arrested by French authorities in Shanghai, handed to Chinese officials, and then, in a move that tells you everything about the politics of the moment, was treated not as a murderer, but as a patriot. He was sent back to Korea. Kim Ok-gyun's body was loaded onto a Chinese warship and transported to Korea. There, the Joseon government subjected him to lynching, posthumous dismemberment. His body was cut apart, and the pieces displayed in different provinces as a public warning. This was the punishment reserved for the worst categories of traitors. 4 months later, the First Sino-Japanese War began. Japan crushed the Qing military. And in the aftermath, Japan implemented the Gabo Reform, a sweeping modernization of Korean governance that abolished the old class system, restructured the military, reformed taxation, and dismantled Qing influence over Korean affairs. It was, almost point for point, Kim Ok-gyun's 1884 platform, implemented by Japan, as a prelude to annexation. The man who wanted to save Korea from foreign domination had his ideas used to prepare Korea for the most complete foreign domination in its history. Kim Ok-gyun is now honored in South Korea. There is a museum in Seoul. He is described as a reformer and a patriot. And he was. He genuinely believed that a modernized, self-determining Korea could survive the 19th century. He was also wrong about almost everything tactical, about Japanese intentions, about popular support, about the timing of the coup. But the hardest part of his legacy isn't what he got wrong. It's that he got the destination right. Modern governance. End of feudal hierarchy. National sovereignty. He just could not build the road. Someone else built it and put it where they wanted it to go.